He was born on April 7, 1947, in Indianapolis, Indiana, in the United States. He was the son of Herbert E. Baumeister, M.D., and Elizabeth Baumeister. He grew up in an upper-middle-class family in an apparently stable environment. However, from an early age, classmates and teachers reported that Herbert had peculiar behaviors. He was socially isolated, had difficulty maintaining friendships, and showed an abnormal interest in topics related to death and decomposition. During adolescence, these signs intensified. Later records indicate that he was diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia, but did not follow consistent treatment. This condition was never worked on properly, and her patterns of strange behavior were consolidated throughout her adult life. Herbert tried to attend Indiana University on 2 occasions, but dropped out before he graduated. His professional life was marked by instability. He worked for local newspapers, such as the Indianapolis Star and advertising companies, but he rarely managed to hold onto a job for long. His personal life seemed to be moving in a more conventional direction when, in November of 1971, he married Juliana Julie Sater. The couple had 3 children. Julie reported in later interviews that, despite her husband's eccentricities, family life was apparently normal, especially in the early years of marriage. In 1988, Herbert and Julie opened the Save-A-Lot thrift store in Indianapolis. The business prospered quickly and brought financial stability. The couple came to be seen as entrepreneurs and respected within the local community. In 1991, a money acquired and bought a luxury property in Westfield, Indiana. This property became known as Fox Hollow Farms, a mansion of approximately 600 square meters on a plot of 7 hectares. The place had an indoor pool, stables, and extensive wooded areas. While the public image was successful, Herbert led a secret life. He began frequenting gay bars and clubs in Indianapolis, often using the pseudonym Brian Smart. Witnesses reported that he presented himself as a landscaper and said he was taking care of a mansion of a doctor who traveled frequently. This version served to justify invitations made to men he knew in these places. Many missing people in the region were last seen in the company of this mysterious man. Between 1991 and 1996, at least 25 men disappeared in and around Indianapolis. The pattern was consistent. Young men, usually homosexual, in good physical shape, last seen in gay bars. Detective Mary Wilson of the Indianapolis Police disappeared. Gradually, she gathered accounts from witnesses who described the same man, tall, middle-aged, driving imported cars and offering rides. The investigation gained momentum when a survivor appeared. The man reported that in 1900, the stranger invited him to a mansion in Westfield where there was a swimming pool. During the encounter, the man tried to convince him to participate in sexual practices involving strangulation with a garden hose. He passed on the physical description of the aggressor and reported to the police the location of the property. This testimony became a central piece in the research. Despite this, the police were not immediately able to link Herbert to the crimes. Searches of the property were limited because Fox Hollow Farm was registered in Herbert and Julie's name. Without a court warrant, entry could only be made with the consent of one of the owners. Julie, for a long time, refused to believe the accusations against her husband. However, over the years, he became suspicious of his behavior. Herbert had vague explanations for long absences, restricted areas of the property, and seemed, after years of accumulated suspicions and with the marriage with the authorities, she authorized the police to investigate Fox Hollow Farm. The searches revealed a devastating scenario. More than 10,000 fragments of human bones and teeth were found scattered in the backyard, woods, and areas near the pool. The protests belonged to at least 25 people. Authorities have focused efforts on identifying the victims. Initially, some were recognized through dental records. With the advancement of forensic technology, DNA tests allowed new confirmations. 13 victims have been officially identified. Among them were men who disappeared between 1998. All last seen in gay bars in Indianapolis. The names have been revealed over the years, including more recent cases solved thanks to genetic genealogy. He lured men under the identity of Brian Smart, hosted private parties at the mansion, convinced them to participate in sex strangulation games. There, at the height of the act, he did not interrupt the pressure, leading to his death by asphyxiation. Then, the bodies were disposed of on the property, partially burned or reduced to fragments to make identification difficult. Before this occurred, he left Indiana and traveled to Canada. On July 3, 1996, Park, Ontario, had committed suicide with a gunshot. At no time did he admit to the murders or show regret. Herbert's death did not end the case. On the contrary, it intensified the public interest and the work of researchers. Many experts believe that he may also be involved in the crimes attributed to the so-called I-70 Strangler, series of murders occurring between 1980 and 1991 along the 70 Interstate Highway. While the connection is considered plausible, no definitive proof has been found that confirms its responsibility in these cases. Over the decades, Fox Hollow Farm has become a tragic symbol. The property has been sold, but remains associated with the investigation. More than 10,000 human fragments were recovered at the site, and the process of identifying the victims is still ongoing. In 2023, 2024, and 2025, new identity confirmations were made, showing that the scale of the crimes continues to be revealed almost 30 years after Herbert's death. Herbert Richard Baumeister is remembered today as one of the most notorious serial killers in U.S. history. It is estimated that he made at least 25 victims, with 13 already identified so far. The case is studied in criminology courses and portrayed in documentaries and reports, not only the killings, but also the challenges faced by authorities in gathering evidence. gain his wife's trust, and move forward in an investigation that exposed the double life of a seemingly ordinary businessman.